Hey guys, well, geez, gosh, we're 4 games in. Is the sky falling? I do get it. 4 games, 3 goalies. The Stars are, I don't know, in the D. Ugh, the D. All right, we're going to break it all down for you right here on the Ozone.
You're in the offensive zone, your place for Leafs hockey.
Hey folks, welcome to the Ozone. That's Coach. That's Katie, and I'm the Devo. We're here to talk all things Leafs. Look, remember folks, hit subscribe, ring the bell. You will never miss any content. Also, like the video, share the video. Helps broaden the audience. Leave a comment for these videos. As you know, we take that input very seriously. Helps guide the content, makes us get better. Okay, we've played a couple games since the last Ozone episode. The Leafs beat the Sens 3-2 last Saturday night in Toronto, and then we lost to the Yotes on Monday night 4-2. 3 goalies, 4 games, 2-2 record. We got the Stars and the Jets upcoming. KD, what's the deal with these Leafs? What's struck out about the last couple of games?
Well, I mean, clearly inconsistency over the last 4. You know, some guys have had good games and they've had bad games. I think we can point at most of the D being kind of up and down, and you know, we were hating the fourth line, and then maybe they were okay against Ottawa, and then maybe not so good. Top lines have been looking okay, but not really scoring. It just doesn't seem like we're firing all pistons. So I thought the game that they played against the Sens was probably their best. Certainly wasn't complete, but you know, I think throughout more of the guys were north of average than others, and I think the result flattered the Sens. I'm going to talk more about the Coyotes. I think that's what's probably drawing the ire of Leaf Nation and Leaf fans, and I just want to bring up, rather than nitpicking on some of the smaller stuff, I do want to bring some kind of a bigger picture stuff here. And then, I guess the concern I would have for this game is either, poor coaching or players' lack of kind of picking up what your opponent is doing and adjusting or adapting or having the will to adapt to it. So, I'm going to just throw up a couple quick clips here. This stat came up before the game. As you can see, Scotty, you're much better with the names of these goalies from Europe than I am. I think you actually saw him in person last time they played.
I did.
So he comes in, they throw this stat up. He has been bombarded with shots for 2 games. But 95 shots in 2 games. They've given up 12 goals. Look at that, 39 shots in the slot. That means tons of rebounds, tons of missed assignments. It's a mess in front. That usually, when you're getting caved in like that, that's where the red zone, they get that red mark right in front of the net. Yeah. So what did the Leafs go in? Leafs should have gone in there understanding, knowing that there's deficiency, knowing that they're going to try to react, and knowing the last, 12, 15, 20 times they played, they will stack the box. They will not, they will give up outside. They will let you pass it around, and they're not going to try to get scored on the middle. And as we can see, sort of the second slide here, sure enough, if you look, the game just started a couple minutes in. Leafs have full control. Look where all 5 guys are playing. They are stacking. There is nothing going to go in. There's nothing going to, no cross seams, no extra passes. They are going to make sure if you're going to score on them, you're going to score from the outside. Even if you look at pick number 3, sort of that next pick there, this is near the end of the game. The Coyotes are up 2-0, and sure enough, it looks like that same formation. They are just plugging the slot there. Nothing is going to get in. It took the Leafs really to the back half of the third period before they decided we're going to get pucks towards the net, we're going to try and hit the net, and we're going to crash. And sure enough, good things happened. They started to get rebounds. There started to be mistakes, and things went their way. I think we're going to get into Coach and the Devo are going to get into some more things, but on a higher level, I'm concerned that the Leafs are still one-dimensional. That defensive plug the zone and take away the middle of the ice still works against them. They still regress to their possession, outside possession game. And when all they need to do is really have that drive, get the puck towards the nets, and play simple hockey. And they kind of refuse to do it till the end, and they deserve to lose this game. So that's from a high level what I didn't like in the Coyotes game. And then very, very quickly, I will say it 1,000. I'm going to say it until they start doing it. But they were 1 for 5 on the power play against the Coyotes. The power play has been struggling. They did not switch their wingers the whole time until the very last power play. And I think if we stick up there that next slide with Nylander on his off wing, puck gets through. He's right there for the tap in to go. That was the first time they switched their wingers all season. And they got 2 quick shots, and they scored. They really need to do that. It creates better angles, and it allows you to shoot a lot faster. This very last clip, look, other teams are doing it. The third goal that the Coyotes scored was exactly that. Books that as offside. Terrible play by Hall to create it, but look where he was. That was a one-time shot. Bang, bang, was in the back of the net before Källgren could move over. That's why you play on the off wing. So that when you capitalize on a mistake, it opens up, the puck comes to you right away. You don't have to catch and shoot. You fire it, and there, back of the net. Happened twice. Yeah, Leafs need to do that more.
There's a spicy timber in your voice there, KD. Coach, what do you make of this version of the Leafs? We're 4 games in.
If Hall threw one up the middle to any one of the 3 of us, we score there, like he did last night. That was egregious. And Leaf Nation's turned on him. Well, maybe not. They were already there. But more and more people are on that bus. Well, so what I think about the last 2 games and the season so far, look, I'm on record as saying Kyle Dubas and Sheldon Keefe should have been fired. They should have been fired after Montreal. They for sure should have been fired after last year. You got to get out of the first round. Well, they're still here. We chose to run it back. Why are we expecting anything different? Here's the thing. We said we get league average goaltending will be okay. The defense is pretty decent, but we're going to outscore teams. That's how we're going to win in the regular season. Put aside for a second the fact that you cannot win in the playoffs like that. You can't. Even Colorado buckled things down, right? So put that aside. But you have to outscore your deficiencies. The roster is built that way. The top guys have to score. Now, they will. Austin Matthews is his shooting percentage 4.8. It's the lowest of any Leaf that scored a goal this year. He's not a 4.8 shooter. He's in the high teens for his career. He's going to start scoring.
Yeah.
So he's off to a slow start, right? Okay, fair enough. But that's the way the roster is put together. And I actually give Dubas a little credit for that. At least he's all in on that model. I don't tend to agree with it. I don't think any of us do. But that's the model. So when the scoring doesn't work, you're going to get games like that. And Kev, I think you did a good job of explaining why that was. I also, as I said, think Keefe should have been fired. I'm going to give him a little credit, though, okay? Here's what he had to say after the Montreal game, the first game of the season.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with our effort. It was just careless. Yeah, it was just careless. Like I said, I expect more. Our group should expect more.
Okay, so look. First game, right? He's not giving guys a pass. He's saying, hey, that it's unacceptable. That effort is unacceptable. That's good. I appreciate him calling things out. If he'd swept it under the carpet, I wouldn't have been happy with it. Then you have 2 wins in a row. Washington game's pretty decent. Ottawa game, yeah, they played well too. The score was not indicative of the play. And then you get that stinker last night against Arizona. Here's what he had to say specifically about his Stars after that one.
To improve. You're only 4 games in. The guys haven't found the rhythm. Our best people have not found the rhythm. So maybe really look at it. The difference between us and Arizona is that we have elite players. And our elite players didn't play like elite players today. Couldn't make a difference.
Okay. He's calling a spade a spade. He's right. We all see it. He's not picking on the 6D Rasmus Sandin struggling. He's saying the difference in our roster is, like, Arizona's got a bunch of guys. We have some guys. And we have some superstars. They all make 7.5 and above, and nobody's doing much. And he's right. The challenge with that, guys, is he's not coaching the Texas Tigers 13U A program like I am, where the kids have to listen to you. He's coaching guys that make way more than him. You only get so many chances to call out your stars, guys. He's doing it in Game 4. He did it in that Amazon thing in Game 6 of the playoffs against Montreal. He's trying to fire them up there. That's appropriate. Game 4. Where's he going to go from here? You're calling out your stars in Game 4? All right. So, look, here's the last clip I'll play for you. You guys, I mean, the Arizona game was so bad, it took our attention away from Matt Murray. What a disaster this is, guys. Oh, by the way, I believe I had that. Let's play the clip. Is that, I already said, I think they're a 100-point club easy. I'm going to say that Samsonov matches Campbell's record last year. Campbell, really high, really low, kind of came back at the end. But here were his stats. He had 31 wins last year. He had a .914 save percentage and 267 goals against. I think Samsonov proves to be the guy. I think he wins 30 games, and I think he matches those stats. And if we that happens, we'll be just fine, fellas. Okay, so I did say, I'm on record as saying they're going to win 100 points, and Leaf Nation does need to settle down. We'll get to 100 points, or we're going to make the playoffs, or there's some serious meltdowns going to happen. But I said Samsonov would win 30 games, and he'd play well this year. I thought because he'd win the crease from Murray. I didn't think Murray would be banged up after one game and one practice. Is this guy made of glass or what? Oh, my gosh, what a terrible bet that is. But anyway, hey, I'm glad to see Samsonov played well. I would have played him against Arizona, and we didn't. But he'll get the next game, and he'll do well. That's what I think.
Listen, good call, Coach. Like, to me, Leafs faithful. You go on the Twitters and you go online. You can hear Leafland is going nuts about their favorite whipping boy, Hall, of late, and rightfully so. Hall had an absolutely atrocious game versus the Coyotes. There's no question about it. Indeed, Hall and Muzzin, when Muzzin was healthy, have made some plays that were very cringeworthy this year. For Muzzin, his play versus the Habs was as bad as a defensive performance I've seen by a professional hockey player. So that's they've had a pretty tough go.
Did you not witness the Ballard years?
The Roman Polak era?
Honestly, I think as bad as the Leafs play, they probably beat the Habs if Muzzin wasn't in the lineup that night. Hull, both those guys have been really tight with the puck, squeezing their stick when it's on. But here's the thing with those two guys: on the penalty kill, they've actually been pretty good, even this season. They certainly have been in the past. And when the game is on the line and they're protecting a lead, they're on the ice all the time. Do you know who's not on the ice all the time when you're protecting a lead at the end of a game in the third period? I'll give you a hint. He makes $7.5 million. Riley is not there. He gets all the power play time. He gets all the favorable matchups. He gets all the time in the offensive zone. Right now, with all that positive situational play, your $7 million man is a -5. A -5. 4 games in. That is real bad. I know there's a lot of calling for Hall's head. I get it. But you don't put Hall out there to do much except to try to ice a game and be stout in front of the net. If you're asking him to handle the puck, you're asking him to do too much. But a -5, guys, that's just not good enough. I'm sorry. And I know Keefe wasn't just talking about Marner and Matthews the other night when he was breaking down that game and talking about the stars. He's definitely talking about Morgan Riley too. He has to be better. And here's the thing, Morgan Riley he's not a young guy. He's been in the league quite a long time. He's the longest serving Leaf, and they don't put him in every situation. He makes a lot of money for a guy who's not relied on for his defensive prowess. Remember, he is a defenseman. So it's something to be, every time you get that bile coming up going on about 3 or 8. Consider 44 and the $7.5 million going out the year. That hurts too.
You're one of 8, Mike. You're one of 8 at that number.
To me, thus far in the season, the biggest issues are Muzzin. He's hurt. And when he wasn't hurt, he wasn't even that good. Can he play? When he can play, will he play? That's a concern. I think we got to look at that moving forward. And then, of course, look, the goalies. I think the Stars are going to turn around. Matthews, I don't think he's scored his first goal until game 13 last year. I know he started the season on the shelf. He went over for a few games. He's going to tune it up, and he's going to get his 40, 50 goals. But we got 4 games and 3 different goalies. This was a problem that we thought we maybe were addressing with the whole overhaul. Hasn't been done yet. But before we completely pick up the pieces of the sky which are falling in Leafland, I just want to bring up this one little thing here. This is how the Leafs started their first 7 games last year to start the season. They started with a win against Montreal, then a loss, then another win against the Senators in a back-to-back home and home. Then we got a loss versus the Sharks, a bad loss versus Pittsburgh, and another one versus Carolina. We were panicking and freaking out last year. 7 games in, we're only 4 games in. I think there's enough time to get through and still have a good showing this year. Okay, let's move on. Guys, let's just wipe these 4 games away and start looking forward to the future. This is, I think, one where I'm going to ask you both to pull up your big boy pants and lay it all on the line. It's prediction time, guys. We got a couple games coming up. Thursday, we got the Stars. And then on Saturday, we have the Jets. We'll start with you, KD. What do you think?
Well, these are games against teams that are playing good hockey, and especially the Stars. So be nice to see Nick Robertson get in the lineup and play against his brother. I think that would be, Keefe has lots of cover to sit some guys, and he's got lots of room on the cap. So I call Robertson to go against his brother. And I'm making a call that both of them score. I'm calling for a Leaf win. And finally, they're going to score more than 3 goals with Robertson get 1. And I think Matthews is getting off the schneid. I know he has a goal, but I'm not 100% sure that really touched his stick. So let's see if he can get a goal where he's actually shooting it, and they get moving their feet a little bit.
Yeah, Coach, what do you think? What's going to happen?
That didn't touch his stick. Did it touch Riley's stick yesterday on that hand pass?
It did.
I don't want to get into that.
It did.
I think I too believe Nick Robertson draws in. He has to. You got to do something with that lineup to change it. Dennis Mulligan has been MIAs on milk cartons after that first game, so I think he's out. Robertson's in. Dallas is playing well. The rink here seats 18,000, so there's 20,000 hockey fans down here, and they're all fired up about the Stars. So I'd call it a 5-4 win. I think Matthews gets a pair. I think he gets going, and I think we start rolling again. That's my call.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I think Robertson's gonna draw, and I would not even be surprised, maybe not for both games, that we see Simmons. If Keefe really wants to send some sort of a message to the guys, I think he might be the guy to do it. I know he's on the trade block, and maybe he moves by then if they can find a dance partner there. Coach touched on it with Malgin. He's been persona non grata really since game 1. He looked pretty good in game 1, hasn't really been around much since then. And Camp has been awful. So, there's opportunities to jig the bottom half of that lineup for sure. The Leafs haven't been good. So they're not scoring. They're missing a lot of nets, and the defense, we've already broken that down. Hideous. I don't think they solve these problems, but hopefully they get a little bit of a better effort. They only got about a 50% effort in the last game against the Coyotes. So shuffling the lines, I think, might light a fire under them. I don't think they're going to beat the Stars. I think the Stars are going to beat them. But I think they tighten it up, and they beat Winnipeg in overtime, 3-2. That's what I'm calling, folks. We'd love to hear what you think. You know what? Leave it in the comments. Leave it in the comments. We'll, if you're right, we'll have you on the show. Anyways, great to be back here. I know it's 2-2. I know it's feeling a little bit tight, but you know what? It's going to get better. And we're going to be here for you right here on the Ozone.
Let the Victor Mete era begin.